The bright screens in the control room flickered as Dr. Alan Murphy rubbed his tired eyes. It was past midnight, but no one at the North American Space Initiative was going home. Not tonight. Not after what their deep space receivers had picked up 6 hours ago. "Are you sure it's not just another glitch?" Alan asked, turning to his colleague who was hunched over a computer. "No way," Frank Mason replied without looking up. "The pattern repeats every 93 seconds. It's using prime numbers as markers. This is it, Alan. This is first contact." The year was 2087, and humanity had just received its first message from the stars. Within hours, similar reports came in from space agencies around the world. The signal was strong, clear, and unmistakably artificial. 3 days later, after the world's best linguists and computer scientists worked around the clock, they cracked the basic structure of the message. It was an invitation. The Galactic Confederation, a collection of 17 advanced alien species, had noticed Earth's experiments with quantum drives and decided humans were ready for contact. "They want to meet us," Alan explained to the emergency meeting of world leaders gathered at the United Nations. His voice shook slightly as the weight of his words sank in. "They're sending a diplomatic ship. They'll be here in 2 months." While the world celebrated and prepared, Commander Olivia Peters of the United States Navy wasn't fully convinced. In her small office at the Pentagon, she studied copies of the transmissions with growing concern. "Look at these gaps," she said to Frank, who'd been assigned to work with her. She pointed to strange blank spots in the alien messages. "They're editing what they sent us." Frank leaned closer. "How can you tell?" "The timestamps don't match up. There are missing seconds in the broadcast stream." Olivia tucked a strand of brown hair behind her ear. "They're hiding something." As the alien ship approached Earth orbit, preparations for first contact reached fever pitch. A team of diplomats, scientists, and military officials gathered at the newly built First Contact Center in Geneva. Dr. Alan Murphy was there as a scientific advisor, his expertise in quantum physics making him valuable to the team. The alien ship was beautiful, a gleaming silver vessel shaped like a perfect oval with no visible engines or windows. It settled into orbit with impossible grace, making Earth's best spacecraft look like children's toys in comparison. When the delegation arrived on the surface via a shuttle, humans got their first look at aliens. Ambassador Vrex of the Taurians led the group. He stood 7 feet tall with green-gray scales covering his body and yellow eyes with vertical pupils. Despite his reptilian appearance, his movements were smooth and his translated voice surprisingly warm. "We welcome Earth to the greater galactic community," Vrex said through the translation device around his neck. "We offer friendship, trade, and cultural exchange." The meetings went well. The aliens shared information about their 17 species and the structure of their confederation. They offered limited technology exchanges and medical knowledge. But when Earth's representatives asked about full membership in the Confederation, the aliens became evasive. "There is a process," Vrex explained. "Many stages of integration. For safety." Later that night, as Olivia and Frank reviewed recordings of the meetings, they noticed something troubling. "They keep using that word, unpredictable," Frank said. "Every time they talk about humans." Olivia nodded slowly. "And did you catch what the blue one whispered to Vrex when they thought the mix were off? Something about us being dangerously innovative." "Is that bad?" Frank asked. "I don't know," Olivia replied, staring at the screen. "But I think they're afraid of us for some reason." As the diplomatic talks continued, Earth put forward its best face. But quietly, people like Olivia Peters began preparing for the possibility that the Confederation's friendly appearance might hide darker intentions. Something about their new alien friends didn't add up, and she was determined to find out what they were hiding. 2 years had passed since the aliens arrived. Earth had changed. New buildings with strange curves rose in major cities. People used small alien devices to clean water and heal minor wounds. It looked like progress, but Dr. Lisa Kelly knew better. Lisa worked as a xenobiologist for the United Earth Council. Her job was to study alien biology and culture. What she found troubled her deeply. "Look at this," she said to Council Chairman Joe Harris. They sat in his office, high above New York City. She placed 2 tablets on his desk. The left shows technology given to the Narvians when they joined the Confederation 50 years ago. The right shows what we've received. Joe leaned forward, frowning. The Narvians got more advanced tech. Much more, Lisa said. And they were less developed than us when they were contacted. Joe rubbed his forehead. So the aliens are holding back on us. But why? Lisa pulled up another file. Every time we try to improve their technology, they shut us down. Remember when NASA tried to enhance the efficiency of their power cells? The aliens cited safety concerns, Joe recalled. But look at these records I found. 3 other species were allowed to modify those exact same power cells. Lisa's blue eyes narrowed. They're not protecting us. They're containing us. Across town, in a secure lab beneath the United Earth Defense Building, NASA engineer Kevin Barnes made a disturbing discovery. He had spent months taking apart alien protective technology installed in Earth's new defense systems. "It's not just a safety feature," he told his team, pointing to a small silver component. "It's a kill switch. They can shut down our defenses anytime they want." His assistant, Donna Wright, looked pale. "Should we tell someone?" "I already have," Kevin said. "Chairman Harris knows. They're forming a special committee to deal with this quietly." Meanwhile, at the Confederation Embassy, Olivia Peters, now promoted to captain, attended a technology review meeting. The aliens presented their latest gift, medical scanners that could detect diseases early. "These will save many lives," Ambassador Vrex said, his scaled hands gesturing smoothly. "A standard technology package for developing member worlds." "Thank you," Olivia replied with a practiced smile. "We have some ideas for improving the scanner's resolution by applying our quantum computing techniques." The room grew quiet. The blue-skinned alien beside Vrex twitched his antenna. "That would be unwise," Vrex said finally. "Quantum applications require centuries of careful development. We have guidelines based on historical catastrophes." "What kind of catastrophes?" Olivia asked. "Matters too complex to discuss at this stage of your development," Vrex replied, ending the conversation. Later that evening, Olivia met with Joe Harris and Lisa Kelly in a small restaurant with special shielding against surveillance. "They rejected our proposal for quantum AI research today," Joe said, keeping his voice low. "5th rejection this month." "Same pattern," Lisa nodded. "Anything involving quantum mechanics or artificial intelligence makes them nervous." Olivia stirred her coffee. "We've compiled a list of all rejected proposals. The pattern is clear. They're specifically blocking technologies that would let us advance quickly or independently." "What do we do?" Lisa asked. Joe looked around the table. "We're forming a special project. Off the books. The Council has approved it with minimal oversight. We need to understand what the aliens are really afraid of." "And if they discover this project?" Olivia asked. "They won't," Joe said firmly, "because officially it doesn't exist. I'm calling it Project Prometheus." "After the myth?" Lisa asked. "The Titan who gave fire to humans against the gods' wishes." Joe nodded. "Exactly. The gods punished him for it, but humans gained power they weren't supposed to have." He leaned forward. "We need our best people working on what the aliens fear most, quantum technology. I know someone perfect for this," Olivia said. "Dr. Ryan Cooper. Brilliant physicist. Doesn't trust the aliens one bit." "Good," Joe said, "because we're done waiting for the aliens to decide what humans are ready for. It's time we decided for ourselves." As they left the restaurant, none of them noticed the small drone hovering high above, its alien cameras recording their movements before flying back to the Confederation Embassy. 5 years after first contact, deep beneath the frozen Alaskan wilderness, Project Prometheus came to life. The facility was buried under hundreds of feet of ice and rock, shielded from alien scanning technology by special materials stolen from Confederation shipments. Dr. Ryan Cooper stood in the main lab, watching his team of scientists and engineers work. Tall with dark hair and serious eyes, Ryan had been recruited personally by Captain Olivia Peters. He had jumped at the chance to work without alien restrictions. "How's the entanglement chamber coming along?" he asked Grace Williams, his chief engineer and a former Special Forces operator. Her military experience and scientific knowledge made her perfect for the project. Grace tapped on a tablet, bringing up a hologram of a spherical chamber. "We've stabilized the quantum field to 93%. Better than yesterday, but not good enough." Ryan nodded. "The aliens have forbidden this research for a reason. They're afraid of what we might do with it, or what we might become," Grace added. Their goal was simple but revolutionary: create a system that could entangle quantum particles on a massive scale. In theory, this would allow for instant communication across any distance, unlimited energy transfer, and possibly much more. The aliens had explicitly warned against human experimentation with quantum entanglement beyond basic applications. Why are they so afraid of this technology? One of the younger scientists asked. "Because it breaks their rules," Ryan explained. "The Confederation has existed for thousands of years by controlling technological development. They advance step by step, slowly and carefully. Humans don't work that way. We take leaps." In another part of the facility, Sam Mitchell coordinated security and intelligence. A former CIA agent with a talent for deception, Sam had created an elaborate cover operation to hide Project Prometheus from alien observers. "They're getting suspicious," Sam told Olivia during her monthly inspection visit. "The Confederation has noticed missing resources and personnel." "What's our cover story?" Olivia asked. Sam smiled. "As far as they know, we're building an underwater research facility in the Pacific. We've leaked just enough real information to make it believable, mixed with false data to keep them looking in the wrong place." The project continued for months, making slow but steady progress. Then one night, everything changed. Ryan was working late when an alarm blared throughout the facility. "What's happening?" he asked, rushing to the main control room. Grace was already there, her face lit by flashing red lights. The entanglement chamber activated on its own. "The quantum particles are behaving strangely." On the main screen, a swirling mass of light pulsed inside the containment field. The particles weren't just entangled, they were multiplying. "That's impossible," Ryan whispered, staring at the readings. "They're creating new quantum states we've never seen before." For the next 3 days, the team worked non-stop to understand what was happening. Ryan finally called everyone together to explain their discovery. "The aliens have been using quantum technology wrong," he said simply. "They're treating it like a tool, carefully controlled. But what we've discovered is that quantum particles respond to human consciousness in ways the aliens never imagined." "What does that mean?" Sam asked. Ryan pointed to the chamber, now glowing with a soft blue light. "It means we can create quantum cascade effects, multiplying energy and information exponentially. The aliens use stable, predictable quantum systems. We've created something adaptive and unpredictable." "Is it dangerous?" Olivia asked. "Absolutely," Ryan admitted. "But it's also the breakthrough we've been looking for. This technology could give us power the Confederation can't match." Grace looked concerned. "How long before we can build something practical with this?" 6 months, Ryan estimated. Maybe less. What they didn't know was that their discovery had already sent ripples through the quantum field, creating detectable patterns that alien sensors picked up despite their shielding. At the Confederation Embassy, Ambassador Vrex received an urgent message from his superiors. His yellow eyes narrowed as he read it. He immediately called for an emergency meeting with Earth's leaders. "We have detected unauthorized quantum experiments," he would tell them. "This is a serious treaty violation. The clock was now ticking for Project Prometheus. Dr. Helen Ward was the newest addition to Project Prometheus. Young and brilliant, she had caught Ryan's attention with her theories on quantum physics. Late one night, while everyone else slept, Helen sat alone in the lab, running tests on the strange behavior of their quantum particles. "This can't be right," she whispered to herself, checking her calculations again. According to her data, the quantum particles weren't just entangling, they were creating pathways for energy to travel instantly across space. Helen called Ryan at 3 in the morning. "I figured it out," she said when he arrived, her eyes bright with excitement despite her exhaustion. "We can use these quantum pathways to send energy anywhere, instantly. No loss, no delay." Ryan studied her work. "Are you saying we can transmit power across any distance?" "Power, data, possibly more." Helen pointed to her equations. "I'm calling it quantum cascade amplification. The energy multiplies itself along the pathway." Within weeks, they built a small prototype. The device was simple, 2 small boxes connected by nothing but air. When they activated it, power flowed from one box to the other instantly. The energy reading on the receiving end was higher than what they put in. "It's creating energy?" Grace asked, watching the miracle before them. "Not exactly," Helen explained. "It's pulling in quantum energy from surrounding space, like tapping into an invisible power grid that's always been there." The implications were staggering. Unlimited energy, instant communications across the galaxy, and weapons that could strike anywhere without warning. The test created a larger quantum ripple than their previous experiments. On the other side of the planet, Ambassador Vrex called an emergency meeting with the United Earth Council. "We have detected dangerous quantum manipulations," Vrex said, his scaled face showing rare emotion. "This violates our technology sharing agreements. We demand full inspections of all Earth facilities." Chairman Joe Harris played for time. "We have thousands of research facilities. We'll need time to organize inspections." "You have 1 week," Vrex replied coldly. After the meeting, Joe contacted Olivia. "We've been discovered. How close are you to a working prototype?" "Close," Olivia said, "but we need more time." "Make it work," Joe ordered. "The aliens are getting aggressive." Meanwhile, Sam Mitchell had been working on his own mission. Using his intelligence background, he had hacked into the Confederation's secure databases through weaknesses in their Earth-based systems. What he found shocked him. He brought the evidence to a secret meeting with the project leaders. "They've been lying to us from the beginning," Sam said, displaying alien documents on a secure screen. "The Confederation doesn't restrict technology for safety. They do it to control species that might threaten them." He showed them more files. "Look at these reports. 3 other species with neural patterns similar to humans were either subjugated or eliminated when they developed too quickly. They're afraid of how we think," Ryan realized. "Our brains make connections their species can't," Helen added. "We see patterns they miss. That's why quantum cascade amplification works for us, but not for them." "Can we defend ourselves against their technology?" Olivia asked. Ryan and Helen exchanged looks. "Not in a direct fight," Ryan admitted. "But our quantum cascade technology gives us an edge they won't expect." Grace stood up. "We need to speed up production. If they're planning to contain or eliminate us, we don't have much time." For the next 3 days, the team worked without rest. They miniaturized the quantum cascade technology into deployable units. Each one could create instant communications and energy transfer across any distance. They had just finished the first batch when Sam burst into the lab. "Confederation warships have entered the solar system. A whole fleet. They're not here for inspections. They're positioning for attack." Olivia's phone rang. It was Joe Harris. "The Confederation just delivered an ultimatum," he said, his voice tense. "Either we surrender all advanced research and accept permanent technological limitations." "Or what?" Olivia asked. "Or they begin what they call protective containment measures. They're threatening to bomb our major research centers and military bases from orbit. The room fell silent as everyone realized the same thing. Humanity's survival now depended on their crazy idea working perfectly the first time. The United Earth Council chamber was filled with tension. On the large screen at the front of the room, 17 Confederation warships could be seen surrounding Earth, their weapons aimed at major cities and military bases. "We have no choice but to agree to their terms," said one council member, his voice shaking. "Their technology is centuries ahead of ours." Chairman Joe Harris stood calmly. "I propose we invite their inspection teams to verify our compliance. We will show them our official research facilities." "And Project Prometheus," another member whispered. Joe didn't answer directly. "All in favor of my proposal." The vote was unanimous. Earth would appear to surrender. Later, in a secure room, Joe met with Olivia, Ryan, and the core team from Project Prometheus. "We have 48 hours before their inspection teams arrive," Joe said. "What's our real plan?" Ryan placed a small silver box on the table. "This is our solution. We've built 300 of these quantum cascade devices. They're small enough to fit on microsatellites. We've already deployed 200 of them in orbit," Grace added. "They're too small for Confederation sensors to detect." "What can they do?" Joe asked. Helen stepped forward. "They can create a quantum network that can penetrate any system. Instead of fighting their ships directly, we target their communications and control systems." "Will it work?" Olivia asked. "In theory," Ryan admitted. "But we've never tested it against actual alien technology." Admiral Ben Lewis, head of Earth's Defense Forces, had been quiet until now. A tall man with gray hair and a stern face, he had initially opposed Project Prometheus as too risky. "You want to bet the survival of our species on untested technology?" he asked. "Yes," Ryan said simply, "because it's the one thing they don't expect. They think we'll either surrender or try to fight conventionally. Both options lead to our defeat." The Admiral studied the quantum device. "How exactly will this work?" "Their ships are connected through quantum communications," Helen explained. "But they use stable, predictable quantum patterns. Our technology creates unpredictable patterns that their systems can't filter out. Like introducing chaos into their ordered system," Ryan added. After a long moment, Admiral Lewis nodded. "Very well. While the Council keeps the Confederation occupied with inspections, what do you need from my forces?" "A small team to deploy the final phase of our plan," Olivia said. "We need to place special devices on at least one of their ships." The next day, Chairman Harris addressed the people of Earth. His message was broadcast worldwide. "Citizens of Earth, the Confederation has expressed concerns about our research activities. To maintain peace, we have agreed to their inspections and will limit certain technological developments. There is no cause for alarm." Behind the scenes, a different plan unfolded. While Confederation representatives arrived to begin inspections, Grace Williams led a small team preparing for a much more dangerous mission. "These are quantum synchronizers," she explained, showing her team 5 small devices that looked like ordinary communication badges. "Once placed on a Confederation ship, they'll connect to our quantum cascade network." "How do we get them on board?" asked one team member. "They've requested Earth representatives to visit their command ship," Grace replied. "We'll be going as diplomatic escorts, carrying approved communication devices." Meanwhile, the rest of Project Prometheus prepared the quantum cascade network for activation. Hundreds of microsatellites moved into final position, invisible to Confederation sensors. In orbit, Ambassador Vrex stood on the bridge of the Confederation flagship, watching Earth through the view screen. "The humans are being surprisingly cooperative," his second-in-command observed. "They recognize the futility of resistance." Vrex replied, "Their innovation makes them dangerous, but they are still primitive compared to us. Should we proceed with containment after the inspections?" the officer asked. Vrex nodded. "The High Council has decided. Earth will be limited to pre-quantum technology for the next 500 years. For their own safety, of course. What Vrex didn't know was that in 12 hours, Grace's team would board his ship, carrying humanity's last hope hidden in plain sight. The final countdown had begun. The shuttle carrying Grace Williams and her team docked with the Confederation flagship. Grace wore the formal uniform of an Earth diplomatic security officer. Hidden in her team's equipment were the 5 quantum synchronizers, disguised as standard communication devices. Ambassador Vrex greeted the human delegation himself. "Welcome aboard the Sentinel. I am pleased Earth has chosen the path of cooperation." The Earth ambassador, an older man named Paul Davis, nodded politely. "We look forward to a peaceful resolution." While the diplomats talked, Grace and her team did a standard security sweep, placing the disguised synchronizers at key points throughout the ship. No one questioned them. Security procedures were expected from both sides. Device 1 in place, Grace whispered into her secure earpiece as she attached a synchronizer to a wall panel near the ship's central computer core. Back on Earth, Helen monitored the signals from a hidden control room. "Synchronizer 1 is connecting to the network," she confirmed, watching data flow across her screen. One by one, all 5 devices activated. Each one created a small quantum bridge between the Confederation systems and Earth's hidden network. "We're in," Helen told Ryan and Olivia. "I can see their command protocols. It's incredible. Their entire fleet operates on a shared quantum network." Ryan studied the data, just as we thought. They use quantum technology for efficiency, but they keep it stable and predictable. They never considered someone would introduce unpredictable patterns. "Like throwing a rock into a perfectly calm pond," Olivia said. Helen's fingers flew over her controls. "I'm mapping their system architecture now. The quantum cascade devices are ready to activate on your command." On the Confederation flagship, the diplomatic meeting continued. Earth representatives stalled for time, discussing minor points of the inspection protocol in great detail. "Your cooperation is appreciated," Vrex said, his patience visibly wearing thin. "But we must proceed with the inspection schedule." The Earth ambassador checked his watch. "Of course, just one more clarification on Section 7. Grace received a message in her earpiece. Network fully mapped. Get your team ready to leave. Operation begins in 10 minutes. She casually signaled her team members, who began making excuses to return to the shuttle. In the Project Prometheus control room, Admiral Lewis joined the team for the final phase. "Are we ready?" he asked. "Yes, sir," Ryan said. "Once activated, our quantum cascade will spread through their entire network." "And you're certain this won't harm their life support systems?" the Admiral asked. "We've programmed it to target only weapons, engines, and communications," Helen assured him. "We're not killers." The Admiral nodded. "Proceed." Helen pressed a sequence of commands. Throughout the solar system, the hidden microsatellites activated simultaneously. Their quantum cascade devices pulsed with energy, sending waves of unpredictable quantum patterns into the Confederation network. "Our systems are being accessed," a technician reported, frantically working at his station. "But it's impossible. Our quantum security is impenetrable." "Shut down the network," Vrex ordered. "I can't," the technician replied. "The commands aren't responding." Throughout the Confederation fleet, the same scene played out. Systems flickered, weapons went offline, and communications failed. The perfectly ordered quantum network that connected their ships fell into chaos. Grace and her team were already boarding their shuttle when the alarm sounded. "We need to leave now," she told the Earth ambassador. "Our ride is about to get bumpy." As their shuttle departed, they saw Confederation crew members running through corridors, trying desperately to regain control of their ship. Back in the control room, Helen looked up from her screen with a smile of disbelief. It worked. "We have access to everything. Their weapons, engines, even their classified databases." "What are we seeing?" Admiral Lewis asked. "Their technology," Ryan said, scanning through the flood of information. "It's advanced, but not in the way we expected. They've been developing the same systems for thousands of years, refining them slightly with each generation. No innovation, Olivia realized. Just perfect execution of existing ideas. That's why they feared us, Helen added. We don't think like them. We take leaps they can't imagine. Admiral Lewis picked up a secure phone. Get me Chairman Harris. Tell him it's time to contact the Confederation Fleet Commander. The quantum cascade had worked perfectly. For the first time since first contact, humanity held the advantage. The aliens' fatal mistake had been underestimating just how crazy humanity's ideas could be. Admiral Ben Lewis stood in the United Earth Council chamber, facing the large screen where the Confederation Fleet Commander waited. The alien's purple skin looked pale, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly in what humans had learned was a sign of stress. "This is Admiral Lewis of Earth," Ben said calmly. "I believe we need to discuss new terms." "This attack on our systems is an act of war," the fleet commander replied, his translated voice crackling with anger. "Return control immediately, or we will have no choice but to respond with force." "That would be unwise," Ben said. "We have access to all your systems. This isn't a negotiation where you have the upper hand anymore." To prove his point, Ben nodded to Helen, who typed a quick command. Across the Confederation fleet, weapon systems powered down one by one. "As you can see," Ben continued, "we could disable your entire fleet if we wished. But that's not what we want." "What do you want?" the commander asked, his voice now more cautious. "Recognition of Earth as an independent power, free to develop our technology without restriction, and an end to your threat of containment." The screen split to show Ambassador Vrex joining the call. "This is unprecedented," he said. "No species has ever overcome Confederation security. Your quantum technology shouldn't be possible." Ryan stepped forward. "That's because you've been using quantum mechanics wrong for thousands of years. You value stability and predictability. We discovered that quantum systems respond to conscious observation in ways you never explored." The aliens conferred among themselves, clearly shocked. Finally, the fleet commander spoke again. "We need time to consult with the High Council." "You have 1 hour," Admiral Lewis replied. "And to show our good faith, we're returning control of your life support and emergency systems. But we're keeping access to weapons and engines for now." When the call ended, the room erupted in cheers. Olivia hugged Ryan, while Grace and her team celebrated their successful mission. Only Helen remained at her console, monitoring the quantum network. "They're trying to break our control," she reported. "But they can't understand how our system works. It's too unpredictable for them." An hour later, the Confederation responded. Their ships would withdraw to the edge of the solar system, while a new agreement was negotiated. For the first time in its long history, the Confederation would treat a developing world as an equal. 3 months passed. Earth transformed rapidly with the new freedom to develop technology without restriction. The quantum cascade technology that had saved them from destruction now powered a revolution in energy, communications, and space travel. In Geneva, a new galactic embassy opened, with representatives from all 17 Confederation species attending. Dr. Lisa Kelly, now Earth's ambassador to the Confederation, addressed the gathered aliens. "We come to you not as enemies, but as partners," she said, her voice strong and clear. "You underestimated humanity's willingness to imagine the impossible and make it reality. That was your fatal mistake, but perhaps the greatest gift you could have given us." She gestured to the window, where a new ship hovered above the city, Earth's first vessel powered by quantum cascade technology. Its sleek design was unlike anything the Confederation had ever built. "With this ship, we can reach stars that even your fastest vessels would take decades to visit. We offer to share this technology, not as a superior force, but as equals with different ways of seeing the universe." The Confederation representatives murmured among themselves. Finally, a tall, elegant alien with silver skin stood. As the High Council's leader, her word was final. In our 10,000 years of existence, the Confederation has never faced a situation like this, she said. Your species frightened us with your unpredictable innovation. We sought to control what we feared. She bowed slightly to Lisa. We were wrong. Your quantum cascade technology has opened pathways we never imagined possible. Perhaps it is time for the Confederation itself to learn to embrace change. As the meeting concluded, Ryan, Olivia, Grace, and Helen watched from the back of the room. Their crazy idea had not only saved humanity, but had changed the course of galactic history. What do you think happens next? Grace asked. Ryan smiled, looking up at the quantum ship hovering in the blue sky. I think we go see what's out there. Together. The galaxy would never be the same again, and neither would humanity.